For the people who have been in the digital money world for quite a while, obviously, you are now acquainted with this crypto resource. RUNE is the local badge of the decentralized trade network THORCHAIN. Since its end-off, THORCHAIN, RUNE, has become one of the most significant digital currencies, which figured out how to give a ROI of 19,003.23% on 10 January 2022. Anyway, what are THORCHAIN, RUNE coin cost forecasts from 2022 to 2030? We should figure out in this video. RUNE news and updates. Following the send-off of the mainnet, the group will focus on further developing security and dependability of the organization. THORCHAIN updated local RUNE to help BNB.RUNE and ETH.RUNE. THORCHAIN sent off mainnet and fixed a few bugs. Accordingly, RUNE utilization could increment sooner rather than later. What is THORCHAIN, RUNE? THORCHAIN, RUNE, is a decentralized liquidity convention based on top of Tendermint and Cosmos, where it permits clients to effectively exchange crypto resources across numerous organizations in a non-custodial way. The THORCHAIN network is supported by the local utility token, RUNE, which serves four significant capabilities as follows. 1. Liquidity. The RUNE token fills in as the essential settlement layer for all exchanges. 2. Security. RUNE gets THORCHAIN network by giving Sybil obstruction. Sybil obstruction alludes to the capacity to forestall network assaults by mimicking numerous characters. 3. Governance. During the liquidity pool posting strategy on THORCHAIN, the resource with the biggest RUNE portion will be recorded first. 4. Incentives. RUNE tokens are utilized to pay exchange expenses and gas charges and are appropriated as remunerations too. THORCHAIN, RUNE price growth from 2019 to 2020. In July 2019, the underlying cost of RUNE when it entered the market was around $0.02. During the initial not many months, no huge increase was seen, and the cost dipped under $0.01 toward the finish of September. In October, the symbolic saw the main indication of bullish energy and RUNE cost, topped at $0.13 in December 2019. This vertical energy was trailed by the retreat of the RUNE, an incentive for in excess of 60% to $0.05. RUNE finished the year exchanging at $0.07, giving an arrival of around 325% since end-off. All through January 2020, RUNE figured out how to rise and arrived at an all-time high of $0.14 in February. Later in March, the value dropped and RUNE reached as far down as possible underneath $0.04, subsequent to falling in excess of 50%. Not long subsequently, the symbolic cost significantly increased again during the next month and combined for the month from that point onward, prior to ascending in late May. After 90 days, RUNE figured out how to hit $1 interestingly and hit a high of $1.21 toward the finish of August. In the wake of falling back to $0.32 in unpredictable September and October, the positive direction continued in November. RUNE was worth $1.17 toward the year's end, addressing an increment of around 1.570% starting from the beginning of 2020. The additions stay in charge in mid-2021, concerning whenever THORCHAIN's market first cap outperformed $1 billion in February. Then, RUNE again crested above $7 in March 2021. What number of THORCHAIN, RUNE coins are there in circulation? As of June 2022, there are 308.0 million RUNE available for use out of an all-out supply of 500 million. As we addressed before, THORCHAIN at first sent off following an IDO on the Binance DEX. As a feature of the IDO, 20 million RUNE were sold. Before this, a sum of 130 million RUNE were sold in before financing adjusts. As per the authority Binance DEX proposition, 10% of the complete inventory, 50 million tokens, was dispensed to the group and locked until the send-off of the mainnet opening at 20% each month from that point. Quite a bit of this distribution was on offered to raise further assets for the convention. The group owned under 1% of all RUNE. THORCHAIN, RUNE, price history in 2021. In April 2021, the value kept on flooding toward the month's end and towards $18. One more huge pullback was trailed by additional increases that took RUNE to an all-time high of United States dollars 22.14 on May 18. Around then, THORCHAIN's market capitalization was near $5 billion. RUNE's ascent was trailed by a downfall the following day, and THORCHAIN's crypto resource lost the greater part of its worth. RUNE value dropped to a low of not exactly $6 a couple of days after the fact. At the hour of compassing starting around 21 June, the ongoing THORCHAIN, RUNE, to United States dollars cost is $1.91319. What is THORCHAIN, RUNE? THORCHAIN is a decentralized liquidity convention that permits clients to effortlessly trade digital money resources across a scope of organizations without losing full care of their resources simultaneously. With THORCHAIN, clients can basically trade one resource for one more in a permissionless setting without expecting to depend on handbooks to source liquidity. All things considered, market costs are kept up with through the proportion of resources in a pool. See computerized market producer. The local utility badge of the THORCHAIN stage is RUNE. This is utilized as the base money in the THORCHAIN environment and is likewise utilized for stage administration and security as a feature of THORCHAIN's Sybil obstruction components, since THORCHAIN hubs should commit at least 1,300,000 RUNE to partake in its turning agreement process. THORCHAIN was subsidized through an underlying DEX offering, IDO, which sent off through the Binance DEX in July 2019. Its single-chain Chaosnet sent off in April 2021, the multi-chain update was sent off in April 2021, and mainnet is currently live as of June 2022. Learn more here. Who are the founders of THORCHAIN? As indicated by an authority illustrative of THORCHAIN, the stage has no CEO, no organizer and no chiefs. All things considered, the further improvement of the convention is coordinated by means of GitLab with hubs as a definitive deciders of which codebase to run. Those presently chipping away at the task are generally unknown. Once more, an authority illustrative of THORCHAIN states that this is to safeguard the task and guarantee that it can decentralize. What makes THORCHAIN unique? THORCHAIN utilizes a novel framework to assist with moderating the issue of ephemeral misfortunes, or the frequently impermanent misfortunes that a liquidity supplier can encounter, while adding to liquidity pools. It accomplishes this by utilizing a slip-based expense to assist with guaranteeing liquidity stays where it is required. THORCHAIN joins a scope of novel innovations, remembering for way state fixes, a state machine, the Bifrost signer module,